my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Today I'm redesigning the character I kept talking about last month. This is Avenir. Now, if that sounds like a weird name, it is because I had a habit of taking just any old word and putting it into Google Translate to come up with a name. So like when I had these like Japanese characters, I'd put random Japanese words in and get Japanese names. Then I never knew how to pronounce them. This is one of my oldest characters. I mean, she's pretty old. And she's stuck around much longer than any other of those. So I've been pronouncing her name wrong my whole life too, which is weird to think about. Like, there's no way in heck her name is pronounced Avenir. Actually, let's figure this out. I'm pulling up Google Translate now. Okay, so her name, I found out the other day when I checked for this video. It means future in French, and it's pronounced like
Avenir.
It's not pronounced Avenir, obviously, but that's just kind of how it is at this point. Avenir is now a made-up name, and it belongs to her. So I made her a long time ago. I was doing a little roleplay with my sibling of my universe main high, and so I was creating characters, and she was originally one of those like one-off characters I'd make for our roleplays where I'd just use her one time, but then I didn't. I really liked her, and so I kept her around. Originally, God, this is so, I feel so bad talking about how I did this, but she was originally the biggest French stereotype. So she was a painter, and she came from France, but obviously she was magical, so she had to go to Main High. So they took her from France, and her whole thing was like she didn't know English that well, so there'd be haha funny moments from that. She wore a flipping beret because French stereotypes. Over time, I've gone away from that. Like a while ago, I tried redesigning her because I really hated her outfit. Like, dude, that was one of the worst outfits I had ever made. It was like jeans or blue leggings or something with like a yellow skirt and then a pink sweater with a star on it. I don't know either. It was so bad. I hated it. But then I like wanted to make her whole fashion sense totally different. So I tried like a dress shirt with a skirt and like a jean jacket over it. And I liked it a lot better. I was getting to a much better place with her design, I think. However, there was still a lot missing from it. I felt like the main thing is a backstory. I never gave this girl like a story. She just had a personality. You know, for all my other characters, usually there's like, I have stuff related to their family and how they connect with their family, or how they're connected with other characters and how they got to the school, stuff like that. Her whole thing was literally just pretty much evolving with whatever Haley's story became. Because these two, they are like my first kind of pair in the Main High universe. Because for all 12 of my OCs, since there's a lot, you can kind of divide them into different groups. And these two are the most separate. They're their own little group. But since they're a group and Haley was older, not like older in age, but I'd had her for longer. So she tended to have more love put into her and more story and stuff. So Avenir was just, whatever fits with that. So like when Haley had the guardian demon thing, she was the person that Haley was the guardian demon of. And so little things like that, just constantly connecting them, so she never really had her own story. So that was a big thing I wanted to do. Change her clothes, give her a story, and back away from French stereotype. I took a while to actually come up with something I wanted, because I wanted her clothes to reflect her personality, just like it did with Haley. And so she's quite like childish. She's very gullible and naive, but friendly, very, childish personality. She's very sweet though. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed and overly trusting. So at first I was like looking into more childish clothing and stuff like that to reflect this. And I went on a long journey of looking up different clothes. Eventually I kind of went pretty close to what her most current redesign had been, with that kind of more formal attire. And I looked up like preppy outfits and they all look so beautiful. And so I decided, okay, I'd give her like kind of a fancy prep school uniform. And then led me to her backstory, which I finally, after all these years, she has like a much fuller story to her life that like explains why she acts this way, who she is. It even explains another part of her personality. Her and Haley were always intended to become a couple. Now, I never with Main High had like an actual cohesive story, but no matter what story I went with, by the end of it, these two are supposed to be a couple in everyone. Just at first, Avenir doesn't even accept herself as gay, and she's like really boy obsessed and constantly trying to find a boyfriend. And so that, in combination with the prep school, led me to finally give her a backstory. So pretty much, Avenir has super Christian parents. Yeah, this is where it's going. What do you expect when you're having a gay guy creating characters? They're all queer. A lot of them have trauma and stuff. And this girl just has really Christian parents that are going to be viewed as antagonistic. So she was sent to a flippin', Christian private school, which those are creepy as heck. Dang, have you heard stories about them? Because those are creepy. How do these things exist? How is this okay? So Avenir, she's human, and that means if she's going to Main High, she has magical ability. And when you're in a very Christian household, and you find out you have magic, that ain't gonna go well. So she found out when she was like really young, and she would like start showing her friends her magic powers, and they were all really creeped out and like, oh my god, Satan. So she was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't show people this. And so she never did it again. She started hiding her magic powers, and then she started hiding even more and more. Because as she started to grow into this environment, once again, they're really creepy and brainwashy at like those Christian schools and stuff. It's really weird. And so she started to like just try and become like this perfect good girl, never do anything wrong. She's pure wholesome being. But obviously underneath the surface there's a lot more going on with her, but she doesn't show any of that. And then she goes to Main High. So yeah, that's what I came up with for her backstory. Finally, how many years did this take? So, and then with her outfit, I want to carry stars throughout her design, because that's even in her most recent redesign, she has stars on her. So I want to keep that as a design element. So I made sure she kept her star headband, which I had recently added. I made sure she still had those pink colors. She had those pink colors. I used the same yellow as I had in Haley. And her hair is one of the most consistent things throughout her design. She gotta keep that bubblegum pink hair. That is something I can never change. I was thinking about changing her name too, because I'm like, that's not a name. But eventually it was like, it's just become a name at this point. I can't change it. And with her reference sheet, I also kind of make sure it mimicked the same stuff as Haley's, like same kind of positioning, same setup. And then I realized, oh shoot, I totally messed up with Haley's reference sheet, because when I added the text that was like 16 years old, demon, gay AF, I was going to add a lot more like pronouns, just like a reference for what kind of fashion they're into so I can change their outfit. But I did it so it was like 16, her race, and then her sexuality, and I forgot to add the rest. So I made sure to go back and do that with Haley's and add that to this reference sheet too. And then the reference sheet was pretty complete. The angle from the back looks really bad, and those shoes were a mess. I didn't know how to draw shoes from the back angle especially, so it kind of looks trashy, but oh well. And then it came time to make the final piece. Now with Haley, once I was done with the reference sheet, I put her a new design into practice and made a final artwork, and I think I'll put these all together on one piece once I'm finished all my characters. But for this one, I want to incorporate her magic, because one thing I also want to change with Main High was giving the magic users more specific kinds of magic, because before it was like you can do any magic. It's just like spells, you learn the spells, you do them. Everyone had different innate magical talent, so some people were just born better at magic and could do magic better than others. And that was just kind of how the magic used to work, but I didn't like that. You know, when so many of my characters are like different races and stuff, but like having a lot of my characters be human and just all kind of the same with their abilities was kind of boring, so I want to give people different kinds of magic. And Avenir's motif is stars, so I want to give her star related powers. This came from, once again, like roleplay me and my sibling used to do. We used to roleplay Pokemon cards too sometimes. We take our Pokemon cards and play with them as if they're like little tiny action figures or something. And she would always play Meloetta's. One of her Meloetta cards had a shooting star themed move that is escaping me now. They'd always have Meloetta like ride on shooting stars. And so yeah, I kind of just did take that. She can like have a star and ride on it like a Kirby warp star. She can also have like star shurikens. Not sure about that one, but you know, it's a work in progress for magic is. Just star themed stuff. And I do put her in space for this one, but no, she cannot breathe in space. That is not part of her magic. She will die like any other human. But I feel like having different kinds of magic for people is going to make the universe a lot more interesting. Instead of just, yeah, y'all can do spells and stuff. So this picture isn't great. I don't hate it. It's just kind of boring, I guess. It's very sloppy, so it doesn't look great. I did try for the first time doing a galaxy on the Abyss paint. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't put too much effort into this drawing. I wasn't really feeling it. It's very sloppy, but I still like the outcome. It was pretty quick and easy, but it still turned out fine, and I like how it looked. I'm still fairly pleased with it. I'm not so sure about how I feel about the galaxy, especially the stars. I need to find a better way to do that, but honestly, I don't hate it too much. It's just the background. It doesn't have to have the most perfect star placement. Also, I really did like cut out half her body with a star when I'm trying to put redesigns into practice. I'm very smart, make good decisions all the time, but I really like her redesign. Avenir has been through a lot with her design and her story. Not really her story because it didn't exist, and I'm really glad that I could give her some love and make her something I'm much more proud of. You know, she's not just like the embodiment of the word French. What was wrong with me? She's literally every French stereotype back then. Oh my god. She's a lot better now, and I'm very glad. So if y'all like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I post every week on Sundays. And also make sure to follow all my social media in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next video.